We are going to argue about the movie The Bubble, which I guarantee you no one in the world likes but me at all. I'm the only person who liked it.
Because you're easy to please. You like trash. That's the reason why, audience. Brett likes trash. And if you want to throw your trash at him, he'll accept it with open arms.
That was quite the hot take, Miracle. Thank you.
Bitch, what?
It's us against you,
everything.
Brett.
You like everything that's terrible in this world.
Like what?
Heat.
You've never seen Heat?
Yeah, I have.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
I highly doubt that.
Yes, I have.
Well, then you're wrong. If you've never seen the movie Heat, that's you're wrong. So it says Netflix viewers say Judd Apatow's latest movie is the worst film they've ever seen. Judd Apatow's new comedy landed on Netflix on April 1st, and viewers are not impressed. You can check the trailer here. It says the pandemic set flick titled The Bubble stars Karen Gillan, Leslie Mann, David Duchovny, and Fred Armisen, and centers around an actor named Carol Cobb, that's Karen Gillan's character, who starred in the movie franchise Cliff Beasts. Although having previously left the franchise to focus on other projects, Cobb is lured back in for the sixth sequel, which happens to be filmed amid the pandemic. I will say off the bat, I hate pandemic being included in most movies and TV shows when it's not the focus. Mm-hmm. Something like this, it's literally the point of the movie, so I give it the leeway because they work it around that idea. But like with most of the shows that I like, seeing them having to deal with it takes me out of like the escapist nature of the entertainment. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't want to look at the real world when I'm watching. There's somebody mentions in like an article, like nobody wants to watch a new season of Luther with Idris Elba wearing a mask. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody wants that. Mm-hmm. So I will say that going into it, most people are going to have their mind made up as to whether they want to watch something like this anyways. I will say it is too long. It's at least 30 to 45 minutes too long. Mm-hmm. It is extremely meandering. It feels at points like it does not have a point at all. Like you're like, okay, you're watching these people act awful and be awful in this movie. And
you liked it.
But it didn't bother me. I don't know if it's because they're self-satirizing themselves. Mm-hmm. They are showing an overblown idea of what it means to be an actor, to be a self-important, self-obsessed egotist. Mm. And the fact that they're able to do that was okay to me, especially...
It's not okay, though.
Why is it not okay?
Because self-deprecating humor is still self-absorption. And it's self-aggrandizing because they think they're self-aware, but they're not.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how much of it is like the director knows it. And this is another thing. Like when I watch any type of this type of meta humor in regular shows, like if I watch a show, like whether it's a police procedural or something like and you see like actors involved, like so it's an actor playing an actor, 99 times out of 100, it's awful. And it's over the top. And it's always this kind of ploy where they're self-obsessed, they're addicted to drugs, and it's very true in the real world from all the arrests that you see and everything like that. But in maybe it's because I like David Duchovny, maybe it's because I like Karen Gillan for the most part as actors. I'm not saying anything about the personalities of these people. Pedro Pascal is of course not the nicest person in the world and is very much not a cool person to ever want to interact with unless you agree with exactly his worldview. Mm-hmm. But one of the things about doing this job is you do have to most of the time learn to separate art from artist or you won't like almost anything, right? So there is a certain amount of I guess distance for me when I watched it. It could be the mood I was in, but the physical humor worked for me because it was very reminiscent of people I knew in the pandemic, the people who were really scared by everything, or the ridiculousness of the way they kind of highlighted, she sits down and takes her mask off, right? At the very beginning. Yeah. All that stuff rang true to me. Now, I'm not saying that the gag as a whole was super funny the whole way through, and it was too long. But the stuff that they tried to do early on, I felt worked enough. And the fact that they don't actually get the movie made at the end was the part I liked the best. The fact that it never got made.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, I get that they're trying to satirize COVID hysteria. They're trying to satirize actors for being pretentious and entitled and addicted to substances, etc. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it's really not funny because they were kind of perpetrating that hysteria on all of us. And then, just on top of that, the way it's filmed is so disjointed that it's like made to make you feel as stir crazy and just like insane as you did
that
back
I will
at the
agree
beginning.
With. That I will agree
hated
with.
that. I had to watch it at 1.5 speed because
I don't know if
I couldn't have sat through it otherwise.
I don't know if the Keegan-Michael Key character being a cult, talking about, I don't know if that was a Jared Leto reference or not.
Maybe
it could have been a Jared Leto reference. I thought the joke about the satirizing the TikTok people who's like, I didn't want to watch E.T. because it felt kind of racist. Like all of that, it's weird because you're right. These are the same people who then go and virtue signal online. But then it's almost like it's like living proof that what they're saying on social media, like you shouldn't trust any of it, right? Because it's clearly not who they are if they're willing to make these same jokes. The one about her playing like half Israeli, half Palestinian in the movie, I was like, it feels like that shouldn't be allowed to be made in today's world, but somehow that joke's allowed to be made. Why him? Why this movie? When realistically, there's going to be people online who are going to be very upset because, Israel-Palestine's a very real thing and people are going to complain about it. So it's like, maybe if you make all of it over the top, all of it hysterical, and all of it kind of this weird form of like blasphemous humor, then people just kind of have to accept it. And the people
it's only allowed because it's like blasphemous humor coming from the gods.
It's
not funny.
I'm not saying
it's
not
really
right.
The COVID stuff especially, making a joke out of the fact that they were entitled, pampered, isolated from not having to work or socialize like the rest of the world, that's not funny. Like, even if they're bringing it up like, oh, see, we get it. Like, we were so entitled and pampered. Like, that's not funny.
And I think it's indicative of a shift that's going on right now, whether you want to talk about somebody like Bill Maher calling stuff out, and I'm not going to get heavily political here. That's not the point of this. But the point is we're seeing a cultural shift back to where they understand the importance of being able to laugh at themselves, which they haven't been able to do for about a decade now. They're likely going to fool a lot of people. Us here are no better than that. At least when I laugh at it from a place of understanding of what they mean, and I understand the hypocrisy. But I love movies and I love entertainment, so I, unlike a lot of other people, will give leeway when an actor who is charismatic delivers a line well. I will give leeway there in a way that I understand why other people do not. Most satire I hate. I hated Don't Look Up. I hate political satire for the most part, unless we're talking like Wag the Dog or something like that from the 90s. But in general, I'm also watching it the part about them understanding that they want to make art, right? They're like, this is deep and important. And the director's like, it's a movie about dinosaurs killing people. I am one of the most pro escapist entertainment people in the world, meaning I don't want movies shoving political messaging down my throat. So even though they're satirizing it, talking about, look, people do not want to watch a bunch of crap with messaging and lessons built in. They want to watch dinosaurs eat people to get away from their lives for a little bit.
That's kind of like the Godzilla versus Kong movie where I said people just want to see monsters punch each other. Nobody gives a crap about humans anymore. So
it's kind of interesting that they're aware of it, but it's like, so who's really making these? Who's making the decisions? Is it the studio, which they take a lot of shots at movie studios in this as well? The Kate McKinnon playing the studio exec who's constantly traveling is like exactly what you expect. A person's like, yes, we're all struggling, and she's in like the savannah, and then she's in a chalet in Switzerland or something like this. And it's like, it's the only country that was open. So it's like, I'm not saying that what we're watching here is necessarily good entertainment. I'm saying that I give leeway with something like this because I love the art form.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a high art. It is definitely not. But sometimes you just catch a movie on the right day and it speaks to you in a way that maybe I watch this again and I hate everything about it. But I watched it one time and I enjoyed it. Oh, I also enjoyed the guy who Keegan-Michael Key's character being really not being able to handle the fact that the TikTok girl had 100 million followers. And he's like, you don't need 100 million followers. Like that spoke to me. I'm sure there's plenty of actors. Like you watch like a lot of actors try to transition into being like content creators and it doesn't work. Like Will Smith is like AstroTurf to hell on YouTube, and it just never comes off as real or authentic.
It was also making fun of the fact that TikTok star was invited on set simply because she has followers and she didn't know anything about
She's like, they're all just
script or acting or anything.
She's like, they're all just really old.
Yeah.
It spoke to me when he's like, I don't watch my own shit. I don't ever watch any of my own segments back. So that one felt real to me. There was also the joke at the end was like, I'm making the Skittles movie and it's all about diversity and racial justice.
It's like the Pete's movie that they're going to make.
Yes.
Soon.
So it's like, and then at the end, the guy comes out and realizes that we never went and sent the swabs to get tested. Like certain parts worked. It was absolutely too long. And I understand why other people don't like it, but I give a lot of leeway when something like this happens.
It just ended up feeling like a fever dream, especially with the dance sequences.
I think that might have been the point. To show the manic nature of being locked up with these people.
I don't like feeling manic and locked up again. I'm done.
23% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
yeah, I'm in the majority opinion here.
No, you are. You absolutely are. Miracle's insane for putting this movie on the same level as Heat. That's actually physically insulting to me.
No, I didn't put it at the same level. I just say you hate, like you really love trash.
You understand that's considered like the seminal crime drama, right? Like that's literally considered a masterpiece in the genre.
Okay.
It's
you know what,
stink bug on the thing. You might want to remove that on your mic top there. Yes, she handled that very well. She didn't. It was the first time
Cool
Al
and
Pacino.
collected.
Yes, very cool and collected. It was Michael. It's there's a very famous scene of Al Pacino and Robert De Niro in a cafe together that comes from that movie. It was their first time.
Chris Carr and I will agree that you have terrible taste.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, you guys are wrong, but at least you're wrong with conviction.
In the case of Bubble, you do.
This is okay. I also want to point out that whenever we do these reviews, I point out that these things are, at their core, subjective. Different people with different life experiences will like things for different reasons or hate things for different reasons. And that is okay, my friends. You are allowed to. I did find it interesting that there's no audience score, even though it has 100+ ratings, whereas other movies with far less have an audience score. But in general, the consensus is that it's unfunny. I think a lot of the people aren't looking at it from the perspective you are. I think most of the people who find it unfunny think of it as like, why are you making fun of COVID? Like they're. I think a lot of people.
It's not COVID that you can't make fun of. It's the fact that they were perpetrators of hysteria and like mental and psychological terror on the public.
The culture.
And then they want us to laugh about it.
The cultures. I don't know particularly what Karen Gillan's take was on COVID. I don't know.
Well, just the whole. I mean, the whole media
industry.
class, not any of the individual actors involved.
I guess for me, it's like there's a timing thing here. Maybe they wait like a year, and this movie plays a lot better. I actually, that's not true. I think the length of it probably precludes that possibility. But if they cut 30 minutes out of this movie, 30 to 45 minutes, and wait a year for things to change, maybe it gets a different reaction. Maybe it doesn't. But I think that's a possibility. But it definitely is meandering. It is definitely overlong.
It'll be lost to the sands of time. You're wrong there.
No, I absolutely. I'm saying like it'll be forgotten in T-minus 5 minutes. Yeah. But you know what? It is what it is.
I already forgot about it.
What's that? The physical humor worked for me. I am a fan. I enjoyed the scene where Pedro Pascal has like the weird like acid trip with Daisy Ridley just because of their history on Star Wars together. He's from The Mandalorian. She was Rey from the sequel trilogy. The most Hollywood aspect of it was the weird like where they all do drugs in the hotel room together. Like that felt like that was
I just had to avert my gaze at that point.
I was like, oh,
it was just a little too
actually for me
crazy.
that stuff tends to be hard for me to watch just because of my being in recovery. Like I didn't watch Euphoria because of that is actually the definition of something that can be considered triggering for someone.
Like very graphic. Yeah.
Yes. So it is one of those things. I understand why everybody hated it, but I'm going to just say, you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You didn't have to be mean about it, Miracle.
I'm always going to be mean towards you.
That makes no sense whatsoever. Why would you do that to me?
Reasons.
Why would you do that to me?
Reasons. Don't worry about it.
You have to trust that she has her reasons.
Why? Can you tell me why? No? Can you tell me why?
Oh, I thought you were asking.
No, I'm asking.
I was like, what?
I'm asking either of you. Can you tell me why I have to trust that? I don't think that's fair.
Don't worry about it.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.